Okay, so now you guys are continuing to build up. And then in 2004, you dropped your debut album, Straight Outta Cashville.
Straight Outta Cashville.
Debuted at number 3, ends up going platinum. Shorty Wanna Ride was a big song. Let Me In
Yep.
was a big song. Game actually shows up on your album on the song Stomp.
Yep. Yeah.
So now you have your own big project that you're starting to push.
Correct.
But in the midst of you promoting this project, the Vibe Awards happens.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, that was a real awkward moment from the moment that I stepped foot in that building. I didn't know it would come out to be what it was, but I knew something was going to happen, just to be honest with you. And it was one of those tense situations where, you know, by that time we had a lot of different problems with different individuals, different crews. You know, 50 and us, we wasn't in the, definitely in the space that you see him and Fat Joe in now. It was beef with those guys. Of course, Murder Inc., you know, the beef was there with those guys. And it was just, you know, all these tense different beefs with every fucking body. So at that award show, you know, was one of the first award shows where we were gonna be present with some of these guys that we kind of quote unquote had problems with. And I felt it would be a problem the moment that the producer of the show actually brought back the seating arrangements and showed us where we would be sitting at. And I took it back to 50, was like, you know, look, check this out, Fifth. They got us sitting right here, but then look at who's all around us. You got, you know, Fat Joe and his crew here, and Irv Gotti here, and Irv Gotti's other brother on it. It was like it was almost a circle formed around us, you know, of all individuals that we had problems with, you know. So once 50 became aware of it, you know, he kind of put us in a position to, or put us in the mind frame of, you know, y'all be on y'all shit in here. And when you do somebody like that within myself and a few of the guys at that time, shit, we did exactly what we needed to do to make sure we were gonna be all right coming in and out of that situation. And then of course we had Eminem with us and Dr. Dre there, and you got Suge sitting here, you know, and things like that. So, you know, I knew to make sure that we was together. All of us was together in regards if anything does pop off. And it did. You know, I remember walking into that award show, and like I tell you from the beginning of this interview, you know, me and Suge always had a solid bond, a solid respect for each other. And even though my career ended up blossoming through G Unit, which made me affiliated, of course, with Dr. Dre and M as well, I knew he had these personal issues or issues that he had with Dre that made me pretty much a part of that if he chose to make it that. But when we walked into that award show, I'll never forget seeing Petey Pablo and Suge was two of the first guys that we seen. And soon as Suge seen me, you know, I'm walking with Dre, I'm walking with M, I'm walking with 50. And we're walking right past Suge, and Suge hollers, "Buck, what up? Come here." And, you know, like I say, this is exactly what I did. I fucked with him. Like, so I went and hollered at him, you know, and me and Petey Pablo had a record where I was even featured on one of Petey's records as well. So I went to holler at him. And you know, Suge wasn't on no negative. You know, he was just basically hollering, saying what up. And once I went over and hollered at him and shit, I dapped up and shit, and let me know, man, I see you. You know, I'm proud of you, and, you know, things like that. And I kept it moving and went on to our section. And I never forget, 50 was like, "What'd he say to you?" I said, "Nothing, bro." He was just like, you know, what up and shit, proud of me and shit, you know, things like that. 50 was like, all right. But, you know, once we sit down at that table at that award show, man, I felt so fucking uncomfortable. Like I said, being surrounded by all of these different beefs. It got to a point where I said, you know what? I can't even focus on trying to watch this award show. Let me just turn my fucking chair sideways. So I turned my chair around and was basically, you know, looking at the guys hands on like, you know, what's this gonna be type of situation, because I was expecting something, you know, and around that time was when me and Banks were supposed to present the next award, I think a Lifetime Achievement Award to Snoop Dogg type of thing. And we were called to the back of the stage to be able to come out after Snoop walked off the stage, if I ain't mistaken. We were supposed to come out and present and say our piece. And being in the back of the stage, you know, you have to look at the teleprompter and know on your wait on your cue to walk out. And at that time, man, that I just seen a whole brawl come about on the teleprompter, and then it just went kind of black. So I immediately told Banks, you know, come on, bro, let's get up here to the front. You know what I mean? And when I walked out onto the stage, the first thing I seen was Dre, man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even aware of whatever punch or the guy whoever walked up and hit Dre or however it went. I just seen Dre doing his shit. You know what I mean? Going for what he could. You know what I mean? At the time, but I just seen him getting down. You know what I mean? With a motherfucker, and I'm looking for 50. You know, I'm trying to find 50 more than anything. Like, big bro, there's so much commotion, bro, that I just said, you know what? Fuck this shit. You know what I mean? Let me get out here and get off the stage and get to it with the gang, because that's how shit go. And in the midst, you know what I'm saying? I seen a motherfucker having Dre kind of in a fucked up position, like where Dre was handling this shit, but it's only so much you can do with a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, that's your same size or bigger. And it's 2, 3 of these motherfuckers. So I was shit, man, went and done anything that I had to do, you know? And like I say, after whatever went on, man, I had a fork in my hand, you know? And I just had.
Okay. Well, from, I know people that were part of that event.
For sure.
Suge wasn't invited to the Vibe Awards. He just kind of pushed his way past security.
Oh, yeah?
And came in.
I never know that.
That's what I heard. And with Suge was Jimmy James Johnson, who has some, and I've talked to Jimmy actually about the situation. Yeah. And he apparently had some sort of issues with Dre already. He approached Dre, asked for an autograph. When Dre said, I guess, decline, he ended up punching Dre in the back of the head. And then the whole brawl kind of ensued. Tables started getting thrown and chairs and everything else like that. And you allegedly stabbed the guy in the chest with a knife. Allegedly.
Yeah. I just know, man, I had a fork in my hand, bro. I picked up a fork, you know what I'm saying? And I was just holding the fork, bro, and I threw the fork down, bro. And out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying, you know, by the time we was leaving the award show, they was saying, yo, you know what I'm saying? Y'all killed somebody out here. And I'm like, y'all killed somebody? What are y'all talking about? And they was like, yeah, bro, one of the G Unit members killed somebody, or G whoop de whoop. And I'm like, nah, bro. With me, I had a fork. You know what I'm saying? But shit, man, I went back to 50 and told 50, you know what I'm saying? I needed to get up out of town real quick, you know what I'm saying? Because I had that fork, and it was one of them things where, you know, I just felt like, let me get my ass on up out of here. But by the time I had landed from flying out that same night, I was getting a call, you know what I'm saying that I was wanted for attempted murder, you know what I'm saying, in that situation. And I had already made it back to Nashville, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking like, damn, bro, like, it ain't been 24 hours and I'm charged with this. How these people come up with this or what or whatnot when I had a fork, you know what I'm saying? I just kept telling them, man, it wasn't me. I had a fork, you know, type of thing. And as the trial and that whole case went on, you know what I mean? They end up sending a forensics audit, a forensics team inside of that venue. And I ain't gonna lie, man, LAPD, some bad motherfuckers. They found that fork that I claimed and was saying that I had, I threw that motherfucker down. And they found it with my fingerprints on it. So with that, you know, it was kind of hard for them to basically convict me, especially with no weapon and whatever was getting used and all of that. It was more or less everybody saying I done this because they seen me lunging at the guy, but they didn't see me do anything, you know, or have any kind of weapon that kind of coexisted with the whole thing about me stabbing the guy. So I was able to get that charge dropped from an attempted murder to a simple assault.
Right. You pled no contest to assault with a chance to produce bodily injury.
There you go.
And that was a felony?
Yeah, I think after I was only given like 3 years of probation, unsupervised, okay. And after those 3 years, I was supposed to have it expunged, but that kind of played a part of what sent me to prison because, you know,
and we'll talk about
we'll
that.
Get to that too as well.
Yeah. Okay, but I remember, and I can't find the picture, but correct me if I'm wrong. At one point, I saw a picture of you in a T-shirt, and on the shirt was a hand holding a knife, and it said, "Don't make me do it."
Yeah, that was me playing off of the energy of what the fuck had just happened, bro. It was like, y'all want to say I done it, so don't make me do it for real. You know what I'm saying? For one of you motherfuckers, because you know, I had that right when I was actually fighting the case. I actually put that shirt on right before I went to court for the first time.
Wait, you showed up in court with that shirt?
Not at all. But I actually wore the shirt probably the day before I had court. You know, my whole thing was, I mean, I had a fork, bro. You know, and if y'all gonna convict me of this knife, of stabbing this guy, you know, you're gonna have to prove it. And that's what it was.
I actually found a picture of the shirt.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty crazy. I actually found it.
How did I not know that?
It was a serrated knife at that. Like, you're crazy, man. All right,
you crazy. Wow, bro.